All right, welcome back to another episode of the Game Language Podcast, where we deduce, dissect, and discuss video games and whether or not they speak our language. I'm Troy, and with me always is
Jason.
What's up, man?
Oh, I'm living.
Yeah,
I'm surviving. After I did some karaoke last night.
Yeah, I'm surprised you did karaoke before going and doing hours of speaking on a podcast.
I know. Yeah. So if I sound a little raspy, just know it's because I was ripping into those Blink-182 karaoke tunes.
Yeah, which ones did you sing?
I sang "What's My Age Again,"
naturally,
After Midnight.
Yeah.
And then everyone else picked like really strange songs, and they made me sing with them.
Yeah.
So I both listened to and sang on the first time some Jonas Brothers song.
Who?
I've never listened to the Jonas Brothers.
You've never listened to the Jonas Brothers?
I know who they are. Obviously, they were big in the news, but
yeah,
no, I never listened to them.
Yeah.
Like
which one? Do you remember which song that they made you sing?
Oh my God, what was it? No, because I'd never heard it before.
Understood.
I'm trying to think. The music video was hilarious. So the karaoke did.
Yeah.
It played like the music. And there was a music video on the screen.
Yeah.
So there was a bunch of people in it that I realized, like Danny Trejo was in the music video, and I was just like, what the hell is he doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of the Jonas Brothers music videos, but I can definitely say I was a Jonas fan. I tried my best not to be. Then I saw Camp Rock, and I was like, all right, I kind of like Nick Jonas. He's cool. Nick Jonas. And so I went and listened to their music, and yeah, and I even followed a DNCE afterwards with Joe Jonas when he was doing his own thing. Oh. So yeah, I became quite a fan.
Let's say Selena Gomez also made a surprise appearance in the video. So
yeah,
I was like, oh, everyone from Disney's.
All right, but aside from karaoke, what you been playing lately?
Oh, I've been drowning in an avalanche of games.
Yes, it is so. There's too many games out nowadays.
There really is. I have to like almost separate them by platform. I beat Devil May Cry 4 on my PlayStation.
Okay.
I beat Katana Zero on my Switch. And I've been playing Donkey Kong Country Returns. I'm like on the second to last world. And then on PC, a lot. I got South of Midnight, Rematch. Participated in the Rematch beta. I've been playing Oblivion, the remake. Or remaster is what they're calling it. It feels like a remake. And the big game, Expedition 33.
yeah. So tell me a little bit about what you've liked so far in Oblivion. Because did you play the original Oblivion?
I played it for 3 hours.
Okay.
Like I didn't have much time in it. I played it after Skyrim. So like going back to it, I was
that a little tough?
Yeah, back on 360 for sure. Because I was like, oh, this just doesn't. It looked so much worse than Skyrim.
Yeah, it does. And
so I never got really far. I think all I did was I escaped the sewer, and then I went to the main town. Yeah. And I just did the gladiator arena.
Yes.
And then I turned the game off. But now with the remaster. Been playing it. It feels really good. It looks incredible. Yeah. I think the game looks gorgeous. Makes me excited for Elder Scrolls 6, which I wasn't. I'm like, oh, these guys can really kill it. Also, the music is insanely good. But yeah, I've been having fun with it. Unfortunately, it came out, just a day before Expedition 33, so I've only put about 4 hours into it.
Do you see yourself going back and playing it?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I need to download it too because similarly, most of my Oblivion experience is in the arena, but that's by choice. Me and my brothers would play around with that game all the time, and we'd pretty much make new characters, do the exact same thing, get out, go to the arena, fight a bunch, go to bed, get bit by a vampire, start over again. Like that was like the rotation because I hated being a vampire. But he'd always attack me when I'm sleeping in my little bedroll in the arena. He'd come up. I don't remember exactly what he looked like, but he'd just be like, something, want to be a vampire essentially. And I was like, no, I'm going to start over. So yeah, that's I want to try and get further than that in the game.
Yeah, I want to do the actual story because it actually seems cool. Like I like the mythology, the Oblivion Gates, Patrick Stewart being the Emperor right off rip was super cool. But yeah, so I actually really like the writing, which, you know, Fallout's pretty bad when it comes to like the story. So I'm more there for like the world.
Yeah.
Where I'm actually like, I'm somewhat interested in Oblivion's story. I don't know how well it'll play out.
Yeah.
Because like I haven't played it, but been having fun.
Yeah.
People are ugly as shit though.
Yeah.
It is
so
HD ugly.
They are so
like,
ugly.
Dude, those NPCs are nightmare fuel sometimes.
Yeah.
I'll just be like talking to a
I feel like they did it on purpose. Like,
because
they remade, or not remade, but remastered the game, but kept everybody hideous.
Oh, dude, the character creator hasn't changed. It just looks better. But like, I don't know about better. It's like it obviously it's subjectively better because it's higher fidelity.
Yeah,
but it's still hideous. Like no matter what I did with my character, he looks like a homeless, destitute man. Like no matter what I do to the eyes, they always look sunken in, and I'm just like, I don't know how to fix this.
you just got to be a Khajiit, right? You can be a Khajiit in that game. Yeah, I think that was my only option. Is that I got annoyed because the elves look so butt ugly.
Oh, they
look hideous. They look like garden gnomes. It's like they're hideous.
They're tall, skinny garden gnomes.
Yeah, and like I never play human. I always try to pick a fantasy race, and I think I'd always just be like, you know what, fuck it, I'll do a Khajiit because it looks like a cat, you know. But aside from Oblivion, you said you also played Katana Zero, a game I recommended. How'd you enjoy that?
I loved it.
Yeah,
that was only $7 for me on the Nintendo eShop, and that was just a really fun, unique take on a side scroller.
Yeah.
Because for those who don't know what Katana Zero is, it's a side scrolling action game where you play an assassin samurai who has a drug in their system called Chronos.
Yep.
Now Chronos lets you, anytime you die, you actually just rewind, because what it does is they're seeing the future. He can see, like, it's almost like Next, the Nicolas Cage movie.
Yeah.
How you can like see in the future.
Yeah, he can perceive possible outcomes and therefore change what he wants to do.
Yeah, and so in this game you kind of played that, but with a samurai, and it's all about like clearing rooms without getting hit, because you die in one hit. Like everyone kills you pretty quickly, and they made the combat like just really fun. Like the puzzle, it being like a puzzle action game was crazy.
Yeah,
because the solving the puzzle was finding out how to creatively kill people without dying.
Yeah. I think it was developed by one person. I think.
Yeah.
So you can see that a little bit in the game, because there are it doesn't change too much from beginning to end. Just the story unfolds. It has a really cool like interrupt type of mechanic where any conversation you can interrupt it at any point, and that can have different outcomes to their conversation or like results to what happens to you, which is probably my favorite thing, is to hang up on somebody over and over again. They're just like, pick up the phone, hang up, stop hanging up on me, hang up. Like, so yeah, it was a game where I bought it a while ago, and then thanks to the III Initiative showcase that was showing off a lot of the indie games, I went ahead and re-downloaded it because I want to be ready for the DLC, and I'm happy I did. And I'm happy that you also played it, because yeah, Katana Zero is worth checking out.
Yeah, I actually highly recommend it, especially at the low price of like $7 to $10.
Yeah,
like,
it's worth it. It's worth it, especially for the sprite animations. Like, it's very good.
They were so fun. But what you been playing, man?
So I've been it's known that I hate roguelites, but for some reason I've been putting myself through Hades. I've been trying my best to get through it. I've made it as far as Hades. I haven't made it through a complete run yet, but I've actually been enjoying it. That's kind of what I do before I go to bed, is I try a run or two. I lay down in my bed, I get my pillow, wrap myself up in my blankets, and then I just play like a run or two of Hades just to see how far I can make it. And it's been fun. I really like the conversations that characters have. I forget how good the voice acting is.
Yeah,
like it is such good voice acting. And the artwork is phenomenal. And the whoever played Zagreus does such a good job at recognizing the emotional growth conversation to conversation. As you try these runs over and over again, You start to build relationships with the gods that are reaching out to you from Olympus to give you the power ups, or like your father Hades, or Nyx, who's like a mother figure for you, and especially Achilles, who's like your trainer,
like your bro.
Yeah, he's your trainer. He's the one who, the reason that you're able to make these runs is because of how well he trained you to fight with different weapons. So yeah, what I've loved is like, as there's emotional growth between you and the characters, the conversations become a little bit more passionate. They become different. Zagreus speaks to certain people with a different tone. And I didn't expect that type of depth to the voice acting. I just thought it was like line plays out. But there's a ton of growth, and I'm feeling like I'm going on this journey with them. That's probably the only, aside from some other like mechanical things, that's probably the most consistent, permanent journey that I've experienced is the depth of the relationships, which is why it's like not so bad for me to sit down and play it, because I hate roguelites like to death. So
yeah, I'm not a huge fan of them either.
Yeah.
I haven't found one where the path to power feels good, because I think it's another reason why I don't like survival shoot like games. I don't like just losing progress.
Yeah.
It's just not a.
I don't mind it if I can go back and get it. Like, for example, like some survival games, if you die, as long as you make it back to your pack, you can get everything back. Or like, you can even consider like the Souls games, almost like roguelites, because if I lose my souls and I don't get them back, I have to start all the way over from everything I just gained for that level. Which similar type of concept with roguelites, like. It's as long as you, whatever you collect on that run, and then you go and make those permanent upgrades, and then you do the same thing. But either way, it's opening up a path for me. Maybe I will try other roguelites, like Dead Cells is one that people talk like very highly of, but I've never been interested in playing.
Yeah, same here.
So that might be one I try out. But yeah, overall, just been playing Hades. Yeah, me and you played Katana Zero. Been playing Expedition 33 like a madman. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later. I'm in love with that game. Yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Well, with that, let's find out what's going on in the world of gaming with our 3 bites of news stories. And the first one is the one that shocked me the most. I was blown away, caught completely off guard. The Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders sold out immediately. Oh, but the internet said it's too expensive. We're gonna boycott. Drop the price.
Yeah, well, that's definitely. I forgot. That's what I've been playing. I've been playing the Best Buy wait in line simulator.
I will say
we can get that.
We both got our pre-orders, thankfully. Very happy that it worked with Best Buy. I will say, I've been seeing a lot of like news stories saying that this was like a complete disaster, but this was way better than the PS5. Like substantially better than the PlayStation 5 pre-order. So I don't understand why people are being like that. I was like, the only reason I didn't get it from Walmart was because I didn't want to buy it from fucking Walmart. But it seemed like almost everyone that wanted to get it from there got it. Best Buy was probably the one that did the... Well, I know Target did the worst because their site broke down and charged people a shit ton of times.
Yeah, at least we didn't run into the situation like I was because I was watching streams while we were doing it, and I did see people get their order in Target, and then like half an hour later get an email saying that their order was canceled, but their card still got charged. So I'm like, damn, I'm happy I didn't have that experience, because I would not even be able to try to buy a Switch for another like 7 to 10 business days or whatever it takes to get the money back.
No, I definitely see that. So that part sucked, but like, between Walmart, Best Buy, and especially GameStop, everyone talked about how GameStop, you could just go there the day, like when they opened it, because they had them at the stores.
Yeah.
Everyone said it was such a good experience. They loved it.
Really?
I actually wish it was like that better. I don't like the shipping option, because scalpers are always going to just buy it if you do it that way.
Yeah.
I think for hot items, they should just do pickup only, personally.
Yeah, I agree. I think it should be pickup only at these retailers. Just let us go and line up and do it like old days. At least we actually, if you put all the product there, as long as you're in line, you get one. That would make life a lot easier.
Yeah. But at the same time, I got it online. So it's all good. But yeah, no, the other thing too that's a big deal about this is like, price complaining aside, this is breaking pre-order records. So the PlayStation 4 and PS5 currently hold the record of 4 million units sold in the first launch month. This has already gone over 6 million. So if they actually sell and a lot of them don't get canceled, this will be the biggest like console launch in history.
That'd be cool.
Which is pretty nuts considering that Mario Kart's the only thing you can play on it. I'm excited for Mario Kart, but I'm just like surprised at the demand for it, especially with like where the economy's at currently. Surprised so many people are like, yeah, I'll spend $550. So pretty cool. Also, we talked about it, but one of the biggest news stories is that Oblivion was shadow dropped.
Yes.
So not only did we all get to play it, it just got dropped on Tuesday. Just in the morning, they were like, it's available now. And even though it's a Microsoft first party now, because Bethesda's owned by them, it did go to all platforms, bar the Switch. But I imagine we'll get a Switch 2 version. Just they just haven't announced it yet. That's what I think. If Skyrim's on the Switch, you got to put Oblivion. You got
to put Oblivion. I'm hoping so.
Yeah, but and then the other bit of news, and this one's been pretty big for a lot of people, the Marathon Alpha. Launch. Did you sign up for that?
I don't think I did.
Because a lot of people have been getting into it, and the reactions have been pretty mixed. If I'm being completely honest, there hasn't been a consensus that's one way or the other. I'm seeing Bungie fans, like mostly PvP Destiny fans, are enjoying it, but PvE fans are not, and it seems a little split on the like survival like streamers. Some people like it, other people say, yeah, this one isn't gonna knock out Tarkov. So it's a little strange to see it so mixed. Bungie usually knocks it out of the park, so it's usually more positive.
What are some of the complaints that they have that you've heard?
Well, one, it is an alpha, so you do have a lot of people complaining about like the unfinishedness of it. But I mean, it's coming out in September, so a lot of people are a little worried that like it's pretty like undercooked right now. Like especially the exteriors, the graphics have been getting a lot of flack. And I kind of agree with that. The interiors look incredible, but the like grassland kind of looks like a weird like blob. Yeah,
it's almost like the art direction. So that's one thing that I've had an issue with, or hope that they change. Is I've been paying attention to streams, and whenever they're outside, everything looks so bland, and I can tell that that's part of the art direction. When you look at the weapons, you look at the character design, everything kind of looks like it's almost like 90s but futuristic at the same time, and they look also like scopes look pixelated on purpose, like the markings on the scope. So there's just certain things that I can tell are supposed to be old school but new school, but in the art direction wise, it makes everything look boring. So
yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest fan of like, for me it gives 3D printed vibes. I'm not the biggest fan of it.
We need more color.
I mean, they do have a lot of color, I feel like, especially like when they die, it's all blue and everything. But I just feel like it's not... you are right, though. The color's not popping, I think.
Yeah, I guess in the environment, I would like... Oh, yeah. I would love the environment. The character models, they're fine. I mean, I hardly see them because I'm seeing through first person, but I do like the animations that they have. Everything looks very Destiny-like, which I love playing Destiny, at least piloting the Guardian, not everything else around it. But the world that they're in looks so bland, and I would like to see more color, more environmental sort of like storytelling, something that makes me excited to be there, because it definitely doesn't look good.
Yeah, I'll say I'm definitely a little bit more down on Marathon, because I've never really played an extraction shooter like that. I've played a co-op one with Helldivers too, and I do adore that, but I don't know if I would like it in this like package. Yeah, because everything I'm seeing of it, I actually don't like the animations. I think it looks too much like Destiny, which Destiny is an over 10-year-old game. I think it should look a lot better, but it doesn't. It looks like it's the same engine, if I'm being completely honest. Okay. And so I'm a little surprised at that. But I haven't played it, so I can't say that the gameplay isn't there. And also, I do trust Bungie on that front. Even if I don't like what I'm looking at, I usually like how it feels.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It's like I'll definitely try it out when they have a like an open beta or something like that, and that'll tell me whether or not I'm gonna buy the game.
Yeah, and people expect that around like July or August.
Yeah,
because the game launches in September. So, but yeah, that's gonna do it for the bite-sized news. 3 interesting stories.
Not bad. With that, we're going to move into impressions. So we've got 2 games that are really important to us that we want to talk about impressions. First one being Rematch. Now, we got to play the, what was it, like a closed beta?
It was a closed beta.
Closed beta, yeah. So we got to play a closed beta. Put about 25 to 30 hours into that closed beta.
Yep.
Damn, was that fun.
It was so fun.
To give kind of like a rundown, Rematch, because it seems like not a lot of people know about it. My group of friends that we played with on the last night were all kind of surprised, like, "Oh, what is this game?" B-Hop's group of friends.
Yeah.
So, Rematch is a 4v4 or 5v5 street soccer game in the vein of Rocket League, sort of concept, made by the team that has done Absolver and Sifu. Slow Clap is the studio, which they primarily do martial arts games. So everybody was kind of doubting why they were coming out with a soccer game. Even me.
Oh, yeah.
Even me. I was like, I'm so upset. I can't wait for this game to be done and gone so that we can move on to the next like combat-focused game. They were not trying to just get something out of there. They had a vision. They had something that they wanted to do, and they succeeded. You have so many different control options when it comes to playing this game. You stay as one character, but the way that you can manage like the soccer ball is insane. Mm-hmm. I've never seen this level of depth on individual character action on a soccer ball. It's insane. So yeah, I'm like in love with it. How were your like first moments with the game?
First moments were watching you, because I had to wait like 6 hours to get into the beta.
Yeah.
Because even though most people didn't know about it, as soon as word of mouth caught, the game peaked over 100,000 players on Steam. And so I watched you play it, and my first impressions were, I was wrong. Because I really did think that it wasn't going to be that good.
Yeah.
But then when watching you play it, I was like, this looks intuitive. When you told me what controls you were pressing, I'm like, that makes complete sense. And like, so the concepts they like clicked. Mm-hmm. And then when I did get into the beta, I picked it up and I was like, I like this. It makes total sense how to play this game.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that's like still confusing to me, or not confusing because I know how it works, but I always mess it up, is passing.
Yeah.
It's about the only one that's still a little rough. But again, it's good. And it's great, to be completely honest. It's not just good. This game's mechanics are so in-depth that I don't mind that I struggle with a certain aspect of it, because every other aspect that I didn't get immediately, I was able to grasp, because it is an easy-to-pick-up game, but it has so much depth to its movement and to its like how you play, that there's always a carrot. Yeah. Like I always have something to get better at, and so I'm always trying. And I really, really loved it. I was surprised because I don't usually like competitive games. Yeah. And I think, and we'll discuss it a bit, but I think that a lot of that has to do with the magic of there's no characters. There's no heroes. There's no special bullshit that your character can have.
No stats, just you.
Yeah. It's just me getting outplayed or outplaying. And I think that I really, really love that. So I was very caught off guard how fun this game was.
Yeah. So I definitely want to touch on visuals, gameplay, and music. First off, being visuals, since that was the first thing you got to experience in the game. When I saw the trailers and the marketing material for the game, I wasn't too impressed. I mean, still not like it's not gonna blow your mind, but I actually did like the way that my character looked. I liked the world, the dome that you're in. So you're in this giant cube that essentially every time you make a goal, it shoots out these like stage specific like fanfare, where it'll be like a tree grows or like sparks fly, something along the lines. and then the stage will like swap to something else. So you've got like a desert area, jungle, a giant coliseum. All of these are really cool hype areas to be in that make really good backdrops for a, like, I don't know, like a, what's the word? I can't think of a word, but it is cool.
I was going to say too, I was on the Steam page and the pictures from the game. They're going to have an underwater one.
Oh, yeah.
Because they have like 3 photos from that. And I was just like, okay, that's cool, because we only had jungle in the desert and then the standard one. And also, like, to kind of like more illustrate like the cube thing, you're always in like a normal soccer field that's not as huge, but you have like holograms are the walls.
Yes.
So it's like you're in a virtual reality soccer.
Yeah. And so like in between like points and stuff, the hologram will go away and you'll see the Coliseum, and then they'll put you into a new like zone. So it would be kind of a fun show to watch for sure.
Yeah.
So aside from like the stage and everything, what are some visual things that you'd like for them to have when the game fully releases? Like, you know, Rocket League, they have sparks and stuff that fly off the back of your car. We do have a mechanic like that. I'd like to see like fire trails.
Yeah. I'd like to see that, or ball trail.
Ball trail.
Like, you can almost tell who was the last person to kick the ball based on what trail's following it.
Yeah.
Other than that, I really like the customization. I agree with you. I really like how my character looks. The customization's not insane, like, to make your character, but it is cool when it comes to outfits.
Yes.
That's where I really enjoy.
Yeah, you have everything from shoe choice, sock choice. You can have prosthetic legs and arm, prosthetic leg or arm, or one of each. You can have shorts, under armor. You can have vests.
You can unlock
sweaters,
pants too.
Yeah. I got like sweatpants by the end. You've got bracelets, earrings, all kinds of stuff. Nose piercing. Yeah. So there's like tons of customization. So I'm very interested to see what kind of characters people are going to have. One thing I don't want is I just don't want to be fighting against some guy who's got a trail of black smoke and giant pink wings and a cloak and like bright red eyes, just a bunch of distracting stuff. Keep it minimal, keep it real, like in the sense that this is something that a soccer player could wear while on the field, and I'll be happy.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as they don't get too crazy. That's why I think the effects should be like stuck to just the like feet and just the ball trail.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on to like game, we'll go to music. How did you like the music in the game? There's not much, but I feel like part of it is impactful.
I was gonna say I liked it in the sense that it was very good how they dynamically made it shift.
Yeah.
When you have the ball, the music's like pretty loud, but when the enemy has it, or like it's not in play, like it's just rolling, the music kind of dies down.
Yeah.
So I liked that. I also really love the countdown.
Yeah.
When you get to the last 10 seconds.
Yeah.
The way they got the beat going and the people shouting, the like stadium shouting with you, I really liked that.
Same. I like that. One of my favorite things is whenever you go to kick a goal and the music's like going really loud, it'll just all die down for a second. And then if they get a save, it's like all these cheers and the music kicks back in. So it's extremely dynamic in the sense to try to elicit that sort of like excitement and get your blood pumping and stuff. There's no music outside of the game, which I hope that they fix that.
I'm positive they'll have that fixed.
Because
the menus just
dead silence. Yeah, which is weird for a soccer game because soccer games almost always have some of the best music. Any FIFA game I've played has like I've played a lot of them for like 5 minutes each, but the menu slaps. So, but aside from that music, gameplay wise, I did want to touch on a couple of different mechanics because I feel like they need to be like highlighted. So number one, there's not only do you have control of the ball, it's important to be able to remove yourself from control so that you can't be tripped. There's like a trip mechanic, and that allows your character to jump over certain tackles, and then regain control of the ball. You can manage it in different ways, like flip it over people, maintain it in the air by headbutting it. There's like a bunch of different ways to modify every single different action with the modifier button, and that's like my favorite thing about it.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say the essential gameplay flow too on like how you play changes with each round, with each point scored, because the game has a 4v4 and a 5v5 mode. And when you play either mode, you're matched with other players. You can't play it solo, like in the sense that it's just 1 versus 1, or control all the characters. You, like you were saying earlier, you're in your guy. That's it. But you do switch roles. So every time you get a point, or they score a point, you get moved on the field to a different position. And one of those positions can be goalie.
Yeah.
And I think not only do they... That was the one I was probably the most worried about, if I'm being honest. Because, like, when you play your character on just, like, as a normal striker or defender, everything is just, like, perfect. And I'm like, man, it's so in-depth. How's the goalie going to be, though? Because goalies are usually, like, they're either dreadfully boring or they're automated. Just because, like, no one really wants to just sit in the back. But I'm going to be real with you. I really enjoyed playing goalie.
Yeah, goalie was way more fun than I thought it would be. Yeah. I think that they could add maybe a couple more mechanics to it, maybe just to give it a little bit more depth. But at least what I played, you had you had your jump, you had your slide, and you had your dashes, which are all really important. As long as you're in what is called like defensive mode. So whenever you hold a button, your character go in defensive mode. Anytime a ball touches your character while in defensive mode, they'll do a defensive move in the sense to like push it away. With goalie, he'll catch it. So you can dash around to catch the ball, but if it's too far, you can go for one of the like epic dives that like your character dives across, like I'm talking Shaolin soccer level, catches it and like flies through the air, rolls up, and then you can immediately kick it off to somebody else, and it's all like extremely exciting.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun playing that one, and then also just playing the normal characters.
Yeah.
Shooting is so fun when you have a backboard.
Yes. Yeah. So with you being in a cube, you have a backboard above the goal you can shoot off to trick the goalie into jumping. Nothing feels better than alley-ooping it to yourself.
Oh, dude, the funniest one was when you, B-Hop, and I, like, when we were playing with them, and we all would just run it in. Because, like, we would just trip up the guy and just run into the goal.
Just run into the goal, yeah.
So funny.
Yeah, so there's definitely levels of greatness in this game, just like Rocket League, and I'm hoping that it pops off.
Yeah, same here.
Anything else on Rematch?
Just everyone buy it. It's $30. It comes out June 19th, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But next up is another very special game, South of Midnight.
Yes.
So for those that don't know about South of Midnight, it is a action-adventure game, action-adventure platformer, set in the Deep South, in the fake community called Prospero, but it's somewhere in Louisiana, Tennessee area, a little bit of bayou, a little bit of forest, but it follows a character named Hazel, who is a weaver, and a weaver is someone who can weave the strands of like spirit energy. I didn't really get what that was referencing other than like that. They call it like the Great Tapestry, which seems like it's just like the spiritual fibers that hold the universe together, the threads of life, I guess. So it is cool that like in this game, the power-ups and everything are all related to textile, like the textile industry. Like she uses spindles for like special power-ups. And I thought that was really cool because that's also a really important part of South history, is the textile industry was huge there.
Oh, wow.
So really cool. I really, really enjoyed this game. I think that the writing was really well done. Characters actually felt like real. I feel like as someone who grew up at times in the South, and I also like lived there for 2 years, I feel like I've met like Hazel. Like I've met a girl that's like her, and it was just really nice to not have like, what's the word for it? Like caricature style writing. Yeah. Like I felt like Hazel was someone that like whoever was writing, they knew her and they knew how she would react to each situation, because she doesn't always react in the way you want her to. She's her own character. And I really appreciated that because I was never like mad or in disbelief. I was never taken away by the writing. I thought it actually just excelled on all points. But one of the specialist parts about this game is its art style and its like music and presentation. Because just to kind of get out of the way, the game plays very good, but it's not going to like blow your socks off gameplay wise. Yeah. Because it's just a competent platformer. Combat is functional. And that maybe sounds a little worse. It's good. It actually is good. It has a decent progression, but it just doesn't have a very deep progression. You get about like 10 abilities in a 10-hour game, so you're getting about one new combat thing an hour, which for me is really good. But the game doesn't have New Games Plus, and I understand that because there's not really anything left to get once you're done with the game, except for like bonuses like lore and stuff that you might have missed if you didn't do a thorough first playthrough.
Okay.
But I think what makes the game special is its story and presentation. The Deep South is just like full of like cool mythology and just like great visuals. It was really nice to see like catfish as like creatures, and just the mythology is surrounded towards Haints, which is like this like I guess it's I'm not sure where it originates other than like the South, but it's like an amalgamation or of like bad pain and like vengeful spirits, and they come up and they look like all twisted and distorted. But and it makes sense because one thing, if you've ever lived in the South and you don't live in like the cities, and you know people who live in like the more like smaller communities, the South isn't safe. The environment is like the biggest killer of like children and people, because, you know, there's alligators, there's just like rivers and swamps everywhere that will just surprise you. So some of the stories, the game is about like healing and overcoming like pain and trauma and helping others overcome that. And so some of the stories really hit like close to home to me, because I'm like, I've known people that had family members die in the same way. Like, so I was really shocked that they went there, and that they handled it in such a mature and cool way. Now, the reason why it's also like such a good presentation is the music. Yeah. Man, oh man, is the music so good. One, it's very like blues and jazz inspired, so it sounds good. That genre of music always slaps. Yeah. But the thing that's like more special about this game to me is that I haven't really had a game where like it almost feels like a musical, because like a lot of the bosses have vocal tracks. Man, no wonder you want me to play that game so bad.
You know how I feel about musicals.
Oh yeah, no, that's why I keep telling you. I'm like, you gotta play this. Yeah. It's only like 8 to 10 hours. You'll have a fantastic time, I think. Especially when you get to I think the music really got good in the last. Well, I think the music was really good the whole time, but my favorite tracks were the more like near the end. Yeah. They did some really fun stuff that I was just like, I was very surprised by. The other thing too on the presentation that I wanted to like shout out is that I'm very happy they didn't just do the Bayou. That's one of the things that I dislike about Southern stories a lot of times, is that they just completely ignore the fact that there are beautiful forests, mountains, and everything in the South. It's not just swamps. Yeah. Because where I grew up, like Tennessee and North Carolina, we don't even have that. You just get a lot of bugs and a lot of trees. And then, but whenever you hear a Southern story, it's always, you know, in Louisiana with like an alligator, and that's in here. But I like that it was relegated to only like 1 or 2 levels. This game, like, you can tell that the team that made this really loves the South, because they really showed off all the beautiful parts of the South. Like the plantations look really good. Just like some of the stuff they did with like the flowers, is just insane. It was a visual treat to play that game.
And so I know that you can either play the game in the, what is it, like 24 FPS mode or 60 FPS. So do you recommend starting off in the 60 FPS straight from the get-go, or trying out that 24 FPS to see if you like it?
I would recommend trying it. I did try it. I made it about 7 hours. I had to play the last 3 without it. The only reason I say I recommend trying it is because there's not as much of a disconnect from cutscenes to gameplay when you do it that way. But and I think it does look good. It's just like maybe if you're playing a marathon session, it starts to wear on the eyes. Because I beat this game in 2 days. I was so enamored with it. I couldn't stop playing it until I beat it.
Yeah, as soon as I beat Expedition 33, that's next on the list.
It's really good. It's also not a full price game. It's only, I believe, $40 on Steam. Mm-hmm. And I hope that it comes to PlayStation so that they can play it as well. But yeah, it's also on Game Pass. If you have Game Pass, you need to play it. You should.
Yeah, it's worth it.
It's free. Just download it. And to me, so I really like that it was a Game Pass game because it felt like finding like one of those hidden gems on Netflix.
Oh,
that's how I felt about it. Is that I was like, this is a game that most people will probably pass on because like they don't know anything about it. It's a brand new IP. Mm-hmm. But if you you click on it and you watch and you're like, holy shit, that was a good ass movie. That's how I felt about South of Midnight. As I was like, dang, this thing is good. I hope people play it. I don't want to talk too much longer on it because it's not that long of a game, and I think that the highlights that I've said are the things that you should go into, and you should go into it without any spoilers. I think the game has a very fun story. Maybe not fun, but it has a very good story.
A good story. Well, I look forward to playing it. All right, and with that, we are going to move on to our mini game. So this mini game is a new one. It's not 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's one that me and my wife came up with. Now, there's going to be no points here. Okay. We'll let you get a couple trial runs with no points. See how you like it. But
no stakes. I like it.
But I came up with this game because there's we'll go into it at the end. But there's a reason why I really wanted to try this out. So essentially, what I did with my wife is she's played a couple of games. She knows some stuff. She knows what we like from here and there. But there's a lot of games that she hasn't played. Now, one of my favorite things about video games back in the day was going to GameStop, picking up a random game, being enticed by the cover art and buying it, and then going home and playing it. And sometimes I got duds, sometimes I got great games, but I've learned that that cover art really can sell you on the game. So I wanted to play this game with her and you, where essentially I'm going to show her cover art from games from specific genres. Today is JRPGs, and she's just going to tell me what she thinks these characters are doing in this game, and you got to guess the game based off of her description of the cover art.
All right.
So I'm going to give you the first one. Now, keep in mind, these are all JRPGs, and I'll give you a couple hints. I'll give you 2 to 3 hints after her description. So the first one, BF, GF with great hair and a huge embrace taking their passport photo together.
Final Fantasy X?
Close.
10-2? No.
Further away.
Oh, okay.
But that's crazy that you went straight for Final Fantasy X.
I just think of boyfriend, girlfriend, and I think of the cover art of Titus and Luna.
Yeah, no. You're on the right track. You're on the right track. So I'll at least say it is Final Fantasy. And if you'd like me to read it again, I can.
Is it Final Fantasy VIII?
It is Final Fantasy VIII.
That's the only other one I can think of where they actually have a couple on the front cover.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just a boyfriend and girlfriend with great hair and a huge embrace taking their passport photo together.
It makes sense too. In that game, they're in high school. So.
Hopefully you'll look at that case a little bit different. Okay. So
that's a great description.
Here's another one. Think Optimus Prime was made of stone and 20 times bigger, pointing to something over yonder in a field with blue skies, and there's a random red sword on the ground.
Random red swords. That's the part that's throwing me off. Yeah. I was sitting there thinking Shadow of the Colossus, big stone dudes.
Well, you're not far off. Let me read that off again. Think if Optimus Prime was made of stone and 20 times bigger, pointing to something over yonder in a field with blue skies, and there's a random red sword on the ground.
I feel like I'm going to kick myself when I don't know this one. Because it's not Shadow of the Colossus, right?
No, it's not Shadow of the Colossus, but the word Colossus. Think about that. We talked about this recently.
Oh. Dang it. Is it Asura's Wrath?
No, that's way further away.
Okay.
Remember, these are all JRPGs.
Oh yeah, no,
all JRPGs.
Xenoblade.
Yes.
Okay.
Xenoblade Chronicles. Yes, exactly.
The red sword now makes sense. The Minato.
Yeah, like look at the photo.
Yeah.
All right, and this is the last one. This one's my favorite that she did. Now, you should know this one. Angry red hair troll doll with a fiery sword attacking what looks like Godzilla in the French Alps, featuring Kermit and Miss Frizzle.
Chrono Trigger.
Yes. Yeah. You got them all right. Yes, exactly. Chrono Trigger.
Oh.
So yeah. I was thinking of this game. Yeah, so I was thinking of this game because it's like I wonder how other people see cover art when they look at it versus when I look at it. So, hope you enjoyed that.
I did. That was funny.
With that, we're going to go ahead and take our break. And then when we come back, we have the game that we've both been really aching to talk about, Expedition 33. Yep. All right. Welcome back from the break. So, this is, we're both about to talk about a game that just recently came out. Like how long ago? A couple days?
3 days.
3 days ago. Yeah, it's been a blur because I've been playing it so much. But it is the new hotness. A lot of people are talking about it online. It is Clair Obscur's Expedition 33. When was this revealed?
This was revealed last June.
Last June? Okay.
So less than a year from reveal to release.
Yeah, and I think it captured everybody with the flair and the combat. What looked like combat mechanics back when we first saw it. It looked like an action-based, turn-based game, which is something that we don't have a lot of nowadays, and I think everybody kind of has been yearning for. But essentially, to kind of give you a rundown of the story, it's a story about this town called Lumiere. How do you say it? Lumiere. So essentially, there was this magical storm, I'll call it, that ripped out this chunk of Lumiere and just dropped it in the ocean. And essentially, this was the first, I want to call like the event. And these people were stuck on here for a year, and they were trying to essentially get back out to find their families, to figure out what's going on. And out of nowhere, a giant paintress, is what they call her, showed up on the horizon. And carved a number into a giant stone, and pretty much everyone who was of that age that she erased just turned into petals and died. And that's like the hook of the game, is that every year the paintress comes and she paints a new number, and everyone who is of that number that was erased dies and disappears. And these people that live here have formed a group, not everyone, but some people have formed a group called the Expedition, where they go out every year to try and find and kill the paintress before she paints another number and kills even more people. And that's all we knew about it at first, and that's all you really need to know. Yeah,
I was going to say, we're not going to spoil the story or anything, because one, we're both not done with it.
Yes.
You also are much farther than I am, because
Don't
karaoke.
Worry, I won't. While you were doing karaoke, I was listening to some of the best French video game music I've ever heard. I think you had the
better music decision.
No, hands down. But to go kind of into that's about all that I want to touch on the story, because I don't want to get too much into spoilers, because I think it's a game that the less you know, the better.
Yeah, I think the only thing I want to add on the story is that the performances are incredible with them, and I do find that the story is the world is so well realized.
Yeah.
That within the first hour of the prologue, the story had me hooked.
Yeah.
So that's why we don't want to tell you more about it. Just if you play the prologue, you're probably going to love it.
Yeah. I was going to go over like performances and stuff. I was going to kind of move everything that is like story adjacent into presentation, and kind of go over like, let's just talk about the performances first and foremost. Yeah. Some of my favorite voice actors are here. Andy Serkis. I've loved Andy Serkis for a very long time. You and I were just talking about one of his older games that I played, Enslaved: Journey to the West is a game that I'm familiar with of his. but he's in here, does a great job. You've got Ben Starr, who I'm sure everybody loves, the new Troy Baker. He's in everything.
He's British Baker.
British Baker. the British Baker. And then you've got what is Shadowheart's voice actress name?
Jennifer English.
Jennifer English. She does such an amazing job.
So Devora Wild.
Devora Wild is Lae'zel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm not really familiar with, or was not familiar with her before. I thought she did a great job as Lae'zel, and she does a great job as her current character, but doesn't sound anything like her.
Yeah.
Jennifer English sounds just like Shadowheart, but not in a bad way.
Yeah.
Almost like her voice is so specific and unique that you can put these different characters on her voice and it fits them. And yeah, she does a great job. And of course, Charlie Cox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daredevil himself.
Yeah. And I'm not familiar with any other voice work that he does. But he did a great job as Gustav, the protagonist. Yeah. So performances are amazing. Even down to some of the, vocal languages that they make up for some of the creatures. I guess one thing I will say is what stops these people from being able to just walk up and kill the paintress is that there's a wild world out there outside of Lumiere. Anything from magical storms to these magical beasts called Nevrons, who are extremely hostile creatures. And there's all these different hostile things out there that can bring death upon them, and which is why we're on year 33, and any expedition that has gone has never come back, and the paintress still paints. So there's some of these creatures out there that have great made up French and gibberish languages. They're called, I won't even get into the name. I'll leave that for them to find out for themselves. Yeah. But I love that, and it adds a sense of humor to the text that I'm reading without being completely voice acted, being maybe some really cringe voice or cringe character voice. You know what I mean? And so it's something that I'm going to remember for a very long time.
Yeah, I was going to say that's one of the things. Playing this after South of Midnight has been such a treat. Yeah, because I love the French influence. Yeah, like what you were saying with the dialogue. Mm-hmm. It's so nice. Yeah, yeah.
It oozes French influence throughout the entire game, which is amazing because I don't have a lot of those experiences. Me and you've spoken about it. We've got a ton of Japanese influence, American influence, English influence, but not a lot of French influence, at least from what I've gotten to experience. And so getting a glimpse into their sort of sense of fantasy and fighting mimes and stuff like that. It's all very, very cool and fresh and unique. I'm going to start saying mère and putain all the time. Putain. You know what I mean? Thanks to this game. I'm going to say it terribly, but I'm going to say it because there's just a lot of stuff to take in that we've not been able to experience before or has been showcased this well before. The music has been phenomenal. I'll get into that in just a moment. Was there anything on the presentation that is extremely stood out to you that I haven't gone over yet?
On the presentation side, I do think they've done a really good job of the visuals. Yeah. This is a tiny team. There's only 30 people, a little over 30, working on the game. But you wouldn't know that looking at it. It looks like a AAA game. Yeah. I like animation and also just art direction. I feel like every time I go to a place, no spoilers, but there was this one spot that was pretty early on that I was just like, what the hell is this? But it looked really cool and it looked very interesting. I felt like they have been trying to go out of their way to make something that doesn't look like other RPGs. Yeah. But at the same time still feels inspired by them. Mm-hmm. So it's weird how they're able to do such a masterful mix of that, where I'm this is new, but I can also I'm getting vibes of something from Final Fantasy or a Mario game. So yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's visually. I've told you before, and I've said it before here, is that I'm not a big fan of apocalyptic or isolated sort of what would you call it when there's no civilization existing in a world?
Yeah, it's usually post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, I'm not really into that. because it's so isolating, especially in a single player game, that I end up feeling lonely, so to speak. And even in this game, while it does suck, and that weight is there, enough of the characters bring levity to it, and enough of the creatures do, that I'm able to like push through and power through. And they do a really good job of, and I think that this is something that a lot of developers have picked up from the like FromSoft series, is environmental storytelling, based off of like, even though a place is empty, it can be full if you just look around at what happened here. And so they do a lot of that, like a lot of that.
Yeah. The environmental storytelling has been awesome, and it almost sucks because I can't talk about it because I don't want to spoil anything. Yeah. But like, you know, you get hints from the previous expeditions because, again, you're number 33. They did start at 100. That is something that's told to you in the game. It went from 100. Every year it goes down. We're at 33. So for 67 years, there's been 67 other expeditions. And the way that the game tells you how they left their mark in these places or how they traveled is really cool.
Yeah. And even like if they've died, how and what did it. And it creates a sense of fear for you because you're like, man, I came in this area. This looks like devastation. What could I be walking into? And then you learn, and then it all makes sense. So that careful, like, attention to detail is like throughout the entire game. I think that's why it's so praised right now, is because there's a lot of attention to detail.
Yeah. And another point that's been praised a lot too, the world map. So when it comes to presentation, for those that don't know, it's like world map. What do you mean? Don't as in every game a world map? No, in traditional JRPGs, to sell the scale of the world, once you would leave a town or a dungeon, you would just get put onto a giant like global map. Yep. And your character would walk so that you didn't have to actually walk 300 miles. You would just do that in a minute.
Yeah, it was almost to get the experience of like a board game or a diorama, you know? So go ahead.
But yeah, so they do that here. Most games, I feel like, haven't done that since, you've got a couple, like, you know, the Ni no Kuni games.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the last time I experienced it was Ni no Kuni.
Yeah, and I didn't really like how they did that because they made them chibi.
Yeah.
And here, they keep them the same. And so there's just this really cool look to it. Diorama is kind of like the only thing I can use to describe it. I feel like I'm playing with little miniatures as they're like in this giant diorama of the main continent. That's what they call it, is the Lumiere's its own, like, got blown away from the main continent. And it is awesome. I've been finding little secrets in it. There's ways for you to like move around and change how you explore the open map. So it's been fantastic. Every single experience you've had in traditional JRPGs is represented here in some way with a modern flair or like twist or a sense of like respect to the old style. And so the map is a prime example of different nooks and crannies and like bosses that you're supposed to come back to, or every time you learn a new move or new like something to traverse differently, is going to create a new experience for you on the map. It's one of my favorite things in the game because I just like walking around it. And they on specific story beats, they actually use the map in a really cool way. So there's just all around, like I said, attention to detail is important. We won't even talk about the mansion. There's like so many different things that that gave us that sense of like wealth to a game back in the day that this is trying to recreate. I can see how this game could only take about 30 hours to beat, but there's hundreds of hours of things to do. Where I've told you before, I was walking around at a point and I was like, how big is this fucking game? Like, what is that? What is that? What is that? Like, it just keeps happening. Yeah. I know I've already said it, and you'll hear it anytime you look up anything to discuss this game, but that attention to detail is, not only is it impressive, it's impressive in any game when they have that much attention to detail, but it is nuts that the game is this big, this large, and it was made by only 30 people.
Yeah.
And it has this like insane attention to detail, because I would forgive them. I really would if it didn't, but I don't have to. I don't even have to overlook it, because I'm just like, this game feels like it was made by a team of 100, even though it's only 30.
Exactly.
They're wizards.
I do want to get into some of the gameplay.
Yeah.
So give me kind of a rundown of how you enjoyed like the combat and how like some of your favorite parts of it.
Okay. So, well, I also want to give people the breakdown of how
it
works. So it's a turn-based action combat system. So what that means is you take turns. Your characters have their own speed stat, which determines where they're at on the timeline. And the timeline's in the top left corner of your screen. When it's your character's turn, you have multiple options to use items, shoot, basic attack, or skill attacks. And each one of those is like really well done. You can shoot because your character has action points, AP, and you spend those to do skills. If you shoot, it takes, for every shot, takes 1 AP. Skills vary. You know, if you do a big skill, it's going to cost like 6 AP, but you do a small one, it's going to be like 2 or 3. Basic attacks don't cost any AP. They actually give you AP. So there's this constant flow of resource management when you're playing the game. And so if you do a basic attack, that's actually kind of the end of it. It just gives you the action point. There's no quick time event. But if you do a skill requires you to do button presses. And those button presses are different timing-wise based on what skill you're using. Some of them have 1, some of them have 2. I haven't gotten further enough to where they're doing 3, but I imagine they're going to get nuttier.
Yeah, they get pretty nutty.
But they're always fun because they do a really good job of making the perfect timing of each of these seem to coincide with the action of
what's happening.
Doing.
Exactly.
So like, this isn't a spoiler, but one of my favorite moves is this shocker move that Gustav, the main character, has. It costs 5 action points, but when I do it, he does a stance. How do I describe this? You know, you ready up with your sword almost like above your shoulder, and he like bends down with each of the button presses. So the first one, you see him like physically go down. If you nail it, you get that feedback, and then the next one comes before he does it again, because then he releases the hit that attacks all enemies.
Yep.
And that whole flow just feels, they did a really good job of making the feel there. I feel very satisfied when I hit someone with a big hit.
Yeah. And one of my other favorite moves of Gustav is just his first move that you get. It's a 3-piece combo. But this is where they actually put the timing on the offbeat of the attack. So he attacks, then you press it. Then he attacks, then you press it. Then he attacks again. And so there's they understand how to create a good flow. And like I don't know. I strain to call it musically influenced, because it's not like there's an actual beat there, but there's a tempo that they know how to keep track of with all their actions. And I really enjoy that part.
Yeah. No, that's a good way to describe it. There's a tempo to it, even though it's not as like musically focused, but they're able to keep the music of action in it, that tempo. So that's how it goes when it's your turn. Now, when it's the enemy's turn, this is where it became my favorite.
Yeah.
This is where I fell in love. You have reactions. You are not powerless when the opponent attacks you. You have 3 options, actually. There is a dodge, a parry, and a jump. Now, dodging's the easiest, and it's the thing you'll probably do the most until you understand like an opponent's patterns better. But doing the dodge is really fun, and you get rated on it. So if you do a normal dodge, you still don't take any damage, but if you do a perfect dodge, you get AP. And so it incentivizes you to take that risk, to be like, oh, I'm going to dodge at the last second.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love getting rewarded for taking risk, which leads into parrying. Parrying feels so good.
Yeah.
Because when you parry, you not only like the screen like almost stops while you pop them, but then it just like blows up with the counterattack.
Yeah.
And so every time I've pulled it off, I've always been like, oh, like it's so good. And then the last one, this one was the most shocking to me, was the jump. Because I was surprised by that they added that. I didn't even think that was going to be a thing. But sometimes enemies will glow with like this yellow square, which means that like you cannot dodge or parry it. You have to jump it. But the cool thing is if you successfully jump it, there's an additional prompt. If you press the right trigger, boom, you counterattack them in the air. And most of the time when you're doing jumps, it's the whole team has to do it. Because that's another aspect that's cool is that some enemies will do AoEs that they'll do attacks that attack everybody. So you as a team have to choose, are we going to dodge? Are we going to do a team parry? Or are we all going to jump? And it feels really good when you're jumping as a team and then all three of you do the counterattack. Yeah. It is satisfying. So if you couldn't tell, I absolutely adore the combat. I think every aspect of it, honestly, is pretty great. That like it feels like it's just extremely satisfying. Yeah. Like I haven't ever gotten tired of it yet. And also, I forgot to mention with the shooting.
It's third person aiming.
It's third person aiming, but it's cool because it makes you look at your opponent. Because if you hit the right spots, you actually break them.
Yes. And there are plenty of and this is not a spoiler. This is just something that you should keep track of. There are plenty of third-person shooting mini games within each, and like not every single enemy, but a lot of enemies will have something that's not directly referenced or like in your face. You have to think, hey, if I shoot this, what happens? And then you'll shoot it and realize they have a specific reaction to it. Well, now I can shoot this other part. So there's like, if you pay close attention to the enemies when you're fighting them, there's a lot more going on than just attacking and shooting. There's little mini games throughout the entire thing. And I think that this is definitely a game that's made by people who loved all the games that came before them. And they wanted to incorporate that and make something that they thought everybody nowadays really wanted. And they were right. Yeah. They were absolutely right. Yeah. I've never seen 33 people so right.
No, for real. There's a reason everyone, if you go on social media, you'll see that everyone's just praising this game. And it really is. It feels almost like a Baldur's Gate 3 moment. Yeah. Where we're getting to finally play something that's outside the normal AAA standard. And seeing them do it so well. Yeah. The only thing I will say, moving on to the next section, just of gameplay, which is exploring. I think this is the only part where I think it's a little unpolished. Yeah. But I think that like it's still not unpolished to a degree where I think it like impacts the game negatively. I just use it as a way to get to the next turn-based combat.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there are like little places where it needs to be polished up, whether it be the traversal or I believe that it is specifically in when it's in presentation, it's the mouthing to specific lines. There are certain areas where it could be polished, but those are like, you have to nitpick.
You have to nitpick at that point. My only thing I will say, and I hope that they fix it, it does crash a lot for me.
Yeah, it's crashed for me once.
I've had 3 so far.
It crashed for me in a really important boss fight, but luckily it was in the beginning of the boss fight, not like in the middle.
One of the first big boss fights I had, it crashed halfway through the fight, so I had to redo it.
Yeah. No, I
think I was on chat with you when that happened.
Yeah, they got to fix that. But any like closing thoughts on the game? I mean, we haven't
beat it, so we'll talk about this again with our full thoughts and probably maybe do like some spoilers if we've given some time. But I'm just so excited to keep playing more. Same. I think that's like the biggest praise I can give the game is that I think about it all the time. And I just want to be Gustav again.
Yeah.
Just put me back.
Just put me back in. Just put me back. Put me back in, coach.
I'm not done, coach. They're like, you've got bags under your eyes.
You're done.
Like, no.
It's like it was 3:30 in the morning last night. I'm like, I should go to bed, but there's a guy right here for me to fight. I'm just gonna fight him. Oh, there's another guy right there. I have to fight him. I'll just make it to the next flag.
Awesome. But with that, you hear that? Mm-hmm. It's the music from a final boss. It's time for the last boss topic. So what's he going to bring us today? A question that's very topical to the most recent game we were just talking about. So I feel like Expedition 33 feels like the work of people who really love JRPGs, and that this is their ideal take on a Japanese RPG styled game. So my question for this one is, what is our ideal Japanese RPG experience?
Yeah.
So let's start with you.
Start with me? Okay. So if I could take all my favorite things from specific RPGs and put them together to make, my perfect game, the first one would be multiplayer. Some of my most fun I've had is playing Tales games with my friends and playing the RPG together. Nothing better than having a party of extremely fun characters played by your friends. Everybody's like, hey, I like this character, I'm gonna play this guy. I like this guy, I'm gonna play that guy. I love that when it came to the Tales series. So I'd love to play more RPGs that are multiplayer, even if there's only one person piloting, or if you want to swap and take turns piloting. I mean, we had fun with Sea of Stars, where you all get to pilot the individual characters. That is probably my favorite thing that I've experienced in JRPGs is the multiplayer. So that's number one. Number two, give me a sphere grid. I love me a sphere grid. I love abilities. I want a wealth of abilities that I can get without having to compromise. I never like it when I have to choose a loadout of certain moves. I want to have every single move in my arsenal. Every single thing that I've ever learned, I want to be able to choose it in a menu of options. Maybe that'll take a while to get through. I don't know, but that's what I'd love. What is it? Party swapping. So I never like it when there's a party who's out and I can't access them. I'm all about optimization. So having the ability to swap in a party member at any point would be really good. That also help in the multiplayer. If you play with 4 friends and there's 8 characters in the party, each person has 2 people to play as. So much fun. So party swapping, multiplayer, endless sphere grid, endless skills and passives, new games plus. New games plus. If I'm playing with friends, I'll play it a second time.
Okay.
Yeah, give me a new game plus with or if you don't give me a new game plus, give me an open end game. So one of my favorite things is when you beat a game, you beat the boss, and it's like we defeated the boss. Story-wise, we defeated the boss, but there's killing him unlocked all this shit for us to have to go do. There's so many things that we need to go do. The journey's not over. Let's continue. And I'm like, yeah. Let's go. Let's go. What's that? That red gate I came across 5 minutes into the game is now open. Now let me go there. So, I think those would be I could have a list of a million things, but if those were the things I had to put together, it would be the multiplayer, the infinite skill, or not infinite, but large skill list, swappable party members, the end game, the open end game, and yeah.
No, that's good. That's great, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I want to play that game. If I had to pick my ideal Japanese RPG experience, it would be one. I like action-based, turn-based combat.
Yeah.
I honestly, I would say that it'd probably be Expedition 33 style combat. I think it's the best I've ever played. Before this, I was a big fan of Mario and Luigi, so I liked that. Sea of Stars also does it good. I need that. I need to be able to press buttons on defense and press buttons on attack. I think the other thing, though, this one would be from Tales of Arise, and I would like to see it a little improved, but I want movement out in the overworld to be nice and smooth. It's one thing, Expedition 33 is not horrible at it or anything, but I always feel like it's just a little too stiff when I'm moving. I want my character to feel like they're a part of a world and feel almost like
boots to the ground type of thing.
Boots to the ground. Movement's a huge thing for me. I love Dragon's Dogma 2 and Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yeah.
So I would love to have that kind of movement in an overworld.
You're absolutely right. I forgot how good it felt to run around in Tales of Arise.
Yeah. So I always think of that game, how much I liked going through the world. And so put that into this ideal JRPG. So combat, movement. I would say for me, I really like customizable equipment. I don't like outdated equipment. I like being able to keep it. If I like my character's base weapon, like their weapon that's theirs. I want to be able to blacksmith upgrade it, so it's as powerful as the last stuff.
So kind of like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, or like the remakes, where it's just like, I like this sword, I have to play the other ones to get the abilities, but I can go back to that one and play that one because I like that one.
Yeah, I mean, I like how they did that, but if we're going for Jason Flynn's preferred one, I don't want to have to play other weapons. Like, I don't even want to touch those. If I find something and I build my character around that weapon, I want that weapon to always be able to be upgraded. But I do like other weapons because I'm not always attached to the default one. I like having like a fire, a water, a lightning sword, like, different elements and stuff.
I want to tack on that a little bit. I forgot to talk about White Knight Chronicles. I don't know if you ever played that. They allow you to actually change your armor, which is a big deal.
Yes. Make sure that like my customization visually reflects it. I do not like having a default outfit when I'm supposed to be wearing like plate mail.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do not like it when you change the outfit and the armor stays. But continue.
But yeah, so equipment being customizable is a huge thing for me. I think if I had to go on skills, I don't know if I need like several, but I need them to have a path to power. They need to be. I would need at least. If it was my ideal one, I want a new skill every 5 levels. So by the end of the game, I should have like 20 special moves. And also, I know there's a lot of stuff. Make my basic attack upgrade throughout the story.
Ooh,
that's my favorite.
Yes.
I dislike it when it's always just the same slash. I like when my character gets to like 25 or 30. They're doing 2 slashes. Yeah. And then by the end of the game, they're doing 3 to 5. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. So. I agree with you 1000%. I do love it when, if you're going to give me a turn-based style game where I don't have a basic attack button to mash, I like it when the attack levels up and they get more and more attacks, or at least give me something that replaces basic attack. And that's what I use all the time, you know?
But yeah, I'd say that's my ideal RPG at this point. I think the only thing I'd ever want is just like make sure the villain is, cool.
Yeah, a good villain, a villain who sticks around.
Yeah, and one that doesn't turn into a monster at the end. That's probably my least favorite trope in RPGs. But
now, if they don't turn into a monster, what if they have a big ass monster?
I prefer that.
Yeah,
that means that they've been holding that back. They're probably the guard dog before I have to kick his ass. I'm okay with that. I love that. I just hate it when I beat the guy and he's just like, I'm gonna fuse now with a blob, and then turns into a Resident Evil monster.
Yeah,
or fuses with God, and I'm like, nah.
What is a JRPG if you don't kill God in the end?
Make God the enemy from the beginning then. That's all I'm saying. Make it to be like the whole time my character's just like, man, fuck God. Fuck God, man.
Not for real.
Not for real. But, not for real. Not for real. Don't smite me, man.
Not for real. No. Not this God, but the video game God.
The Japanese RPG gods.
Yeah. Fuck that God.
They're always some like weird Cthulhu thing in space.
Yeah.
Hope that's not you, but who knows?
Yeah, I love that.
But yeah. Well, I think the boss has been defeated. I think we both have 2 very fun-sounding RPGs that I want to play both of them.
Gotta get 29 people and make it. All right.
This does seem to be the number. But yeah, so now that we're getting to the closing, we got some video game vocab for you. So this one, and this is an option in a lot of the games that we mentioned today, film grain. If you don't know what film grain is, in video games, film grain is a post-processing effect that simulates the visual texture of traditional film photography, often used to add a cinematic look or hide minor imperfections. It introduces subtle visual noise like speckles or a slight grainy texture that can make the game look more like a movie. Here's the thing. I'm playing a game. That's why I turn this off every time. But if you ever do wonder when you're playing a game if it looks a little blurry, sometimes it's not DLSS. Sometimes it's an effect called film grain, because it does help them like hide some imperfections, especially games that were built with that in mind. But yeah, now the more you know. And with that, it is time for the final credits. It's the last part of the show where we give you 30 seconds uninterrupted to say whatever your heart desires, be it salty, sweet, or say nothing at all. The mic is mine. Okay, tell us what's on your mind in 3, 2, 1.
So there's a lot of discourse around fighting games right now. Okay, everybody's got a complaint. Everybody has to say this game sucks. This game's not good. You just saw it with Tekken. Everybody hopped off and then hopped back on as soon as they did the updates. Chill the fuck out. All right, like fighting game fans, chill the fuck out. Play the games, enjoy them. Every fighting game has a reason to be played. Most of them are good. We are in a great age of video games. Chill the fuck out. Just
and cut. Great job.
Game Language is recorded at Grizzly Voices Studios in Mesa, Arizona. Our producers are Jason Flynn and Troy Brown. Our intro music is our personal track, Penguin Symphony. Our outro music is Jump by Snail's House, also provided by Riot Music. Our editor and sound engineer is Adonis Shiflin.